Are you guys struggling to pay your bills? If you live in the US, you know it's a terrible situation that we're going through right now. Everything is sky high. Mortgage is sky high, rent is sky high, food is sky high. Going out is just impossible. What are you guys doing? This for me is like a pandemic. It's just widespread everywhere. I have people living in other countries and they're facing the same thing. This seems to be a worldwide issue. Why are things so expensive? How can people afford it? If poor people are crying out, right? And normally poor people are crying because they just don't have it. But rich people are also crying out because now they have to spend more than what they had to spend before. So it's reaching everybody. What is being done to rectify this situation? It's like living in this constant state of stress, especially in the US where it's a credit system that they have going on. You can drive into the car dealership and you can buy a car with little to no money down. You drive out with a nice fancy car, but guess what? You're gonna have to make those monthly payments. And nowadays, with how prices of vehicles are, it's ridiculous. Usually you're able to drive into a dealership and buy a car for $20,000. Nowadays, that $20,000 car is now $40,000, $50,000. And if you want something really fancy, you're thinking of $100,000. So that's crazy. Living in the US gives you access to anything you want, but guess what? There's a consequence that comes with it because there's always a bill at the end of it. You have to pay that bill. So, what do you do? If you're employed, you're not getting a pay increase. You're getting the same old salary and everything is sky high. How is that? How does that work? So now you're in a worse situation than you were before, because if you were making, let's say, $10 an hour and your rent used to be like $600 per month, you're making that same $10 per hour and your rent is now like $1,200 per month. As an example, it doubles. Yet still you're making the same $10 an hour. How is it that your expenses double and your pay remains the same? And even if your pay does increase, it increases to like $12 an hour. What is that going to do? Absolutely nothing. By the time they take taxes out of it, it's as if you were still getting that $10 per hour. Something needs to be done. Things just cannot continue like this. This is an outrage. Back in the day, gas price went up and everybody was crying out and it was crazy, but it has come down somewhat nowadays, so it's not too bad. But what about the days when it used to be like 96 cents per gallon? Now it's $3 and something per gallon, $4 and something depending on where you are. This is a problem that needs a solution. People are crying for help and there's nobody to help them. This cannot go on. Something has to change. Something has to give. Who's looking out for the poorer people? And like I said, even the rich people are crying because what they used to pay $10 for, now they're paying $15 for it. And if their pay has not increased, they're getting the same money that they were getting, they're still feeling it. You know what I'm saying? But nothing compared to a poor person, because at least they can still afford it. They're just having to pay more. for it. But what about the poor person who still has to get that thing that used to cost $10 and now they got to pay $15 for it? Now they're broke. So it's not fair. Something needs to change. Something needs to change. Our society is not equal in the things we do, in how people are looked at and taken care of. The structure is just not right. You cannot have a little percent of the people having all the money, being able to afford things, and then majority of the people are suffering. They're just going day by day. They're just on this cycle, of going to work and coming home and waking up the next day and going again, just like no end. Some people can't even afford a vacation. They work all their lives. All their lives. Some of them end up dying before they're able to retire and to enjoy a little bit of it. And the people who are retiring, what are they living? Subpar lives, because they can't afford it. They can't afford to do anything nice for themselves. A lot of people, they put in the hard work and say, okay, I'm young, so I'm just going to work. I'm just going to button down and I'm just going to do what I got to do. And then when I retire, I can relax. I can do what I want to do. I can tour the world. I can go visit friends and family. What happened to them? Their plan failed because the world changed around them. So the plans that they had, they can't even execute that plan anymore, because if they were saving and let's say they had like $100,000 put down in the bank and say, okay, when I retire I can take a little bit of this every day or every week or whatever, and that will help to balance me out. That $100,000 lasted maybe for 2 years now, versus the 10 years that they were planning on. So it's crazy. Things have changed, and so the plan for the majority also needs to change. The structure, the system is not right. And so the government needs to set something up where they can take care of their people more, especially the elderly. It's not fair that they work away their young lives up to their old age. And when they get to this old age to kind of relax and, live a little bit, they can't afford it. They die working. They die poor. They die not enjoying a little bit of, the luxurious life. Nothing. I don't want that for myself. And I know you guys don't want that for yourselves either. So what are we going to do? We got to come up with a plan. I am not offering any solutions. I know what my solution is at this point, but I'm not offering up any solutions to you guys, because everybody has to come up with their own plan, their own strategy, and kind of figure it out. And a lot of this thing has to do with money. So if you don't have the money from the beginning, how are you even going to execute a plan? Money makes money is what they say, but you gotta strategize. If you don't have money, find someone who has money. That is one little thing I said I wasn't going to share, but that's an idea. Somebody who has money, you become their friend. Shoot a business idea to them. See if they will take you on board, okay? They are providing the money, but you are providing wisdom. You're providing knowledge. You are the person on foot going out there and making things happen. That is your contribution. And that is how you actually build a business without having money, because you use this, you use your head. So this can be used in any life situation. If you want good and better for yourself, you can execute some of these plans. Just think about it, and think about it from the beginning to the end, and just kind of see it in your mind as to how it will play out. Now, a lot of times you plan and things don't work out exactly as you planned, right? There may be differentiations and variations, but the important thing is the end result. So it doesn't matter how you get there as long as you get there, but you have to start off with a plan. Once you have that plan, then you do your little rigmarole and, work that plan. But in any case, at this particular point, we are having a crisis. We are having an issue where people are working for little or nothing, and the bills are just piling and piling and piling. They're sky high. People cannot afford it. So the higher powers, meaning, you know, the people in power, the people in power, the people in power of the country, step in. Do something. You have the power to do it. You have the power for change. Look at what's going on in our society. Talk to the little people and you will understand what is going on. Embrace that human kindness inside of you, right? Embrace it and think of brotherly love. What you'd want for yourself is what you want for the people in general. And help us. And we in turn will help ourselves. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're new here, you know what to do. I will see you in the next one.